Authorities in South Carolina releasing dash cam footage now of the minutes before an officer shoots and kills an unarmed man. It started as a traffic stop that went horribly wrong. And here you see the North Charleston police officer, Michael Slager, as he walks up to the car to get Walter Scott's license. And then he goes back to his cruiser. Shortly after that, and there's missing video, as you saw from that cut there in the middle, and then Mr. Scott jumped out of his car and started to run across that green area. And that was when Officer Slager chased him down, which we know from the video, and killed him, shooting him in the back 8 times, according to these charges that have been brought against him. Incredibly sad story on both sides of the image that you see on your screen right now. When the cell phone video began, that was when we saw Slager shooting Mr. Scott, who you see on the left-hand side of this. Slager now faces murder charges that were leveled immediately by the prosecutor in North Charleston. Slager's mother is now speaking out, saying that she is praying for the Scott family.
I just have to let it be and hope God takes care of everybody involved. Not only my family, but the Scott's family, because I know they're grieving just like I'm grieving. So I want them to know that.
Broken hearts all around in this awful, awful story. Let me bring in our panel now. Lars Larson is a syndicated radio host on Alpha Media Networks. Leslie Marshall is a syndicated radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. Welcome to you both. It's good to have you with us. It's a terrible story. And, you know, if there's anything that is remotely good about this, it is the outpouring that has come from both of these families in terms of the civilized way that this has been handled. And let me also play here another piece of sound from Anthony Scott, who is Walter Scott's brother. Let's listen to what he says about this.
I want a change to come, not unrest, but a change to come. And I think this key video, not about the money, it's about the change so that nobody else can go through the same thing.
Leslie, with this new evidence, the new video, and these folks speaking out, what's your take on this story now?
Well, I think that what police are finding, and let me be clear, the overwhelming majority of the police are good and enforce the law. And there are people out there, especially in the African American community, who fear, based on incidents like this, that there are officers who take the law into their own hands. They say it takes a village, and we have a village of cell phones, millions of people, until we have every police officer with body cams. These videos tell a story. Everyone, including this officer, is innocent until proven guilty, even a man running from a police officer getting out of the car. But I think what's happening more and more is people are saying, see, some of these incidents are taking place, and these pictures, these videos, explain our side of the story. With the more conciliatory tone of the situation, I'm hopeful that we're moving in the right direction. But I think to bridge that gap between lack of trust and that overreach in law enforcement authority by the very few in the minority in police,
thank goodness for the video.
That we have a long way to go.
As Leslie says, thank goodness for this video, because it tells the story, Lars, in a big way. And we know that this police officer called in and said, he tried to steal my taser. We don't see any evidence of that on this video.
Nope.
And in this case, this is why they brought murder charges against him right away.
I hate to rain on Leslie's parade. I have a great deal of sympathy for Mr. Scott and his family and his friends. But the officer was charged with murder, and one of the important details that's emerged today is that the investigators charged him with murder Monday afternoon. The shooting happened Saturday. The video only emerged on Monday night and came into the hands of police.
I think that was because of the witnesses that were on the scene as well.
Well, correct. But here's the thing the conclusion that's being drawn. The charges are only being brought because of the video. The fact is the investigators said they charged the officer with murder on Monday afternoon because they already knew there was something wrong with this shooting. From the way I look at it, I believe the officer committed murder, and I think he's going to be found guilty. He does have a right to his day in court. But drawing the conclusion that it was only this video that made the case is simply not borne up by the facts. I would like to see see every cop in America with video on them, mostly because it settles a lot of these situations.
Yeah.
It'll show that people who've assaulted officers have done that, and it'll show when officers do go across the line and break the law, as this officer appears to have.
We like to be in a place where it's irrelevant, the color of the skin of either party, because we know that there are many black police officers who've been killed in the line of duty, and it's a police officer and a person that they're pursuing. And in this case, it ended horribly wrong, and we will continue to follow it. Thank you very much, Leslie and
bet.
Lars. Thanks for being here. To you both.
All right, now we get